All right. Well, hopefully you can all see me now. Sorry about that 5-minute delay there. I realized I hadn't fully configured my video camera correctly. Yeah, this is only my third stream here, so please forgive me on that one. But in any case, if you are here and you're watching right now, welcome to the AMD Where Gaming Begins Episode 2 launch event, and this launch event will hopefully be covering the RX 6800, 6800XT, and 6900XT, which should be some very powerful GPUs. Very excited to see that. You know, the Big Navi hype train is coming to its final stop, but that doesn't mean that it's slowed down any, whatsoever. So the hype train is still going at warp speed, and I cannot wait until this event starts. It does start in about 22 minutes here. So if you're watching right now, now is the perfect time to ask questions. Obviously, there's a lot of people watching right now. So let me check here. It looks like we have over 1,000 concurrent viewers right now, so obviously getting to your questions is going to be very difficult. The best way to make sure that I am able to read your question would be just to do a super chat, but I will try my hardest to get to regular questions as well. So let's go ahead and do that for the next 21 minutes, and then the event will start. And I'm going to go ahead and make my little chat thing here a little bit bigger. There we go. Then you can kind of see well, that's not even my chat, so who cares? Honestly. I mean, really. Okay. Oh, and then one more thing I want to mention is hopefully my microphone sounds a little bit better this time. Last time I hadn't made any adjustments to it, and this is one of those microphones where you're supposed to basically adjust it before it comes into the computer to get a good sound. So it should sound a little bit better this time. All right. Let's see what we got here. Ray tracing on 7 nanometer, please. Yeah. We're gonna get ray tracing, that's for sure. That's definitely going to happen, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to compete real well with NVIDIA's new stuff. It seems like it's gonna be, somewhat similar to maybe their Turing architecture, which, to be honest with you, that's pretty good. I don't mind that, but yeah, let's see. Yep, now we're moving up in concurrent viewers. There's more and more here. All right. Is there a DLSS equivalent? Let's see. Hold on, I'm just seeing enable dark mode. Yeah, I probably should enable dark mode. But when the live stream starts, it'll be full screen anyway. But in any case, someone said, is there going to be a DLSS equivalent? So, I heard that they're potentially working on a DLSS type of deal, but I don't know when it's going to be working. I don't know if it's going to be like on release 6 months from now. And on top of that, I don't know how well it's going to work. Apparently, Microsoft has some sort of, I think it's called direct ML, direct machine learning. So that should be what AMD is trying to use, but I don't know if that's, how well that's going to work. I know it's not going to possibly be as good as NVIDIA's, but we'll see. All right, let me actually go to my official stream instead of sitting here in the stream settings. That'll make it a little bit easier here. Okay. Because right now I'm like reading your chats from within the manager, and that's not because right now I'm like reading your... Okay. Neck? Oh yeah, everyone. Okay, here we go. Ready? Wow. I always remember that one meme that was going around with that guy going, wow. But yeah, let me know if in the chat if it sounds a little bit better. It should be sounding better now. Like the microphone quality since my last stream should be a little bit better. But yeah, who knows? Okay. Let me pull this up. All right, I'm just getting everything all correctly put together here. Okay, what do we got? I'll read a few more questions here. We do have about another 18 minutes, so if you want to get your questions in, now is the time. Someone said you would like Beyonce. I suppose she's got all right music. It sounds good. Have you seen the new cards that video cards have reported on? No, let me look that up real quick. Video cards. Let's see. AMD Radeon RX 6000 series announcement here. Custom RX 6800XT. Oh, are you talking about the custom 6800XT graphics cards? Because if you are, I actually haven't seen this yet. that looks pretty interesting. Looks like they're kind of using similar designs to the 3080, which is good news because those are really good. All right, thank you so much, Tobias Nelson, for the 45. Is that Danish krones? Let me know in the comments there if I got that right. I may be wrong. But he says, the reason why some are holding back information is because of the fact that the insider might get fired if you spit too much out. Okay, I think this is more of a question type deal here. Yeah, that is always like, I'm going to try and answer your question correctly here, but I'm a little bit confused. So I think what you're asking is, why do people hold back information, and is it because they're afraid of getting fired? And that's definitely a possibility. Like with these companies, if you're working within the company and you're leaking out a whole bunch of information, and it ends up that you leak out enough where they're able to trace it back to you, yeah, there's a good chance your job's going to be eliminated, or not your job, but you are, and they'll find someone else to do your job, because realistically, if you're giving up business secrets for the business that you work for, yeah, that's not a good look. So honestly, that's why a lot of people hold back a lot of that type of information. All right, thank you, Kurt H, for the $1.50 and the unicorn. It looks very nice. All right, let's see if there's any more questions here. By the way, everything you send, doesn't matter how much it is, helps a bunch. But again, let me know if I got that right. Is that Danish krones? I'd like to know. Let's see. One more neck spin, please. Okay, I'll do one more for those of you who haven't seen. All right. Will AMD cards be available? That's a really good question. I remember that one of the people working for AMD said that it definitely wouldn't be a paper launch. Now, some people consider the 3080 launch to be a paper launch. At this point, I kind of agree with you. If you have that sentiment, it does kind of seem like a paper launch, but you got to remember, even though AMD says it's not going to be a paper launch, that doesn't mean there's going to be wide availability. So if you're expecting to get one on day one, I think your chances are greater because fewer people tend to buy AMD cards, and on top of that, the 3080's been out for a while now, so that might have sated a just tiny bit of that demand, so having the options might be a little bit better. If you have an option between a 3070, 3080, and 3 Big Navi options, that's definitely more than just the 3080, so I think your chances are better, but I don't think it's going to be easy to get one on day one. In fact, I think it's going to be almost just as hard as getting the 3080. All right, Trevor C-Stat says, what time is this happening? Okay, it's happening in 15 minutes. It starts pretty soon here, so I think they were saying 12 Eastern Standard Time, which that would be 15 minutes from now. And so we're just spending these 15 minutes here going over some questions. If you have anything to ask, be sure to put it in that comment section. Okay, so price prediction. All right, Tech Ups, you're going to make me end up having to put in like one of those things that stops you from being able to spam, but I'll answer this one. My prediction on price is 6800 coming in at $450, 6800 XT at $550, and 6900 XT at $800. That's my expectations. I think they're going to ask for a bunch for the 6900 XT, and in fact, all three of those cards might even be like more money than that. It really depends on where they land in terms of performance. Oh, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and turn my phone on silent here so that doesn't happen again. I don't need buzzing going on during this whole ordeal. Yep, do not disturb. There we go. No more phone. Okay, and then it looks like we got a couple more super chats, so I'll definitely go ahead and get to those. Oh, there's one. Okay, so thank you, John Hurt Raphael, for the $2 Canadian. How do you only have 35,000 subs? Your neck is greatest of all time. Well, you can help that out, by the way. Right now, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, definitely be sure to go ahead and be subscribed, because every single one of these events, you can be sure that I will be live streaming them. I'll try and give you the absolute best quality I possibly can. I have the lowest latency settings enabled, so you should be able to get them pretty much just as fast as they're coming out of AMD's mouth themselves. And again, yeah, if you're not subscribed, 100% helps a ton. If you are subscribed, be sure to like this stream as well. Helps a ton. But thank you very much for the $2. And then Fernando Campos gives a $5 US. Thank you very much. Next spin when AMD stream starts for everyone to see. Yeah, we can do that. Why not? Thank you so much for the $5. Helps a ton. All right, so we got about 13 minutes left here. If you have any more questions to get in, we do have some time. Turn dark mode on. Okay, let's see if I can turn dark mode on. Appearance, dark theme. There you go. That made it easy. I'm actually using the Microsoft Edge to view the video because I'm streaming on Chrome, so I kind of want to keep them separate so I don't like accidentally click Chrome, show you my stream key, and then God knows what someone's going to do with it. Anyway, it looks like we have another $5 super chat coming in here. And oh my Lord, look at the chat flying by on AMD stream. That's crazy. But in any case, Kurt H, thank you for the $5. Helps a ton. Can you do a slow motion neck spin, please, neck god? Well, I can. I don't know how impressive it's going to be. It kind of seems like it defeats the purpose, but sure. So I'll give you the breakdown. You have to start like this, and then you kind of got to whip it. And then you gotta do it correctly though, because if you whip it too hard, yeah, there it goes. You're in the hospital. So there's a whole. You'd have to break down in a whole video. Okay, this isn't. You're born to do it or you're not. And on top of that, it takes years of training. So in all seriousness, though, we have another super chat that came in from Ali Radsan. By the way, I apologize if I'm messing up your names. I am American, so when I see something that's not American, my brain just shuts down. But in any case, thank you, Ali, for the $2 Canadian. Power supply needed. Okay, yeah, we can talk about power supply. So I think these cards are going to be slightly more efficient than the Ampere ones. I don't think they're going to be that much more efficient. I think they are going to try and kind of push them to the limits, but I think they'll just draw a little bit less. I might be wrong. We'll have to wait and see in, about 11 minutes here what really happens, but I think that's what it's going to be. So I think basically you're going to have similar power supply recommendations to the 30 series, but it just won't be as on the edge. So you'll be a little bit less nervous getting maybe a lower power supply. So like 6900 XT, yeah, maybe you'd want a 750 watt power supply, but 650 watt would probably be fine. We'll see though. All right, and then it looks like we have another $5. Wow, what is that currency again? Let me look this up real quick. Yeah, I should have known that one. That's a euro. Wow. I even knew what it was last time, but somehow I guess I didn't get enough sleep or something. But thank you for the €5. YouTube user. Helps a ton. Sup, love the channel. My question is, what do you think is the best upgrade for an i5 9700K / RX 580 rig in the $500 to $600 range? So it's kind of a general question. I'm going to interpret it how I want to interpret it. This may be interpreted wrong, but essentially I think what you're asking is, I have $500 to $600 to upgrade. What should I upgrade? Right now, I would say the 9700K is still very good. It's one of those CPUs that I don't like just because it was 8 cores, 8 threads, and it could have so easily been 16 threads, but that doesn't mean it's a bad CPU. It's a very good CPU still. It's just that I always wish they had enabled hyperthreading on it, which is why a lot of people don't like it, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So I think I'd stick with that for now still. But the RX 580s definitely, I've had quite a few. They still hold up all right, especially at 1080p, but if you're going to be doing high frame rate or anything like that, you are probably going to want something a little bit more beefy. So I'd maybe at least start looking at like a 1070 if you could, but that's really cheap. So you could probably even go for it depends on the resolution, because like 3070 is really good, but I don't like the 8 gigabytes. Maybe wait for the 6800, or you could maybe get like a 2070 Super on discount. I'd look at something like that, maybe looking at like a secondhand card, because you can get those pretty cheap. And honestly, I think if you're playing 1080p or 1440p, it should be more than good enough, because I use a 2060, and that's definitely more than good enough for me right now, or at least it's good enough. So 2070 Super would be more than good enough. Okay, then we have $5 from the Witchmaster. Thank you very much. That helps a ton. AMD will not make the 6900 more than the 3080. That would be pretty nice. I hope they do that. That would be awesome. I could see them doing that, but AMD does seem to want margin these days, so we will see. And then thank you, Takumi Takahitsumaru. Okay, I think I got that right. Thank you for the $5. Helps a ton. That next spin is godly. You need more subs, dude. Well, thank you very much. And again, if you're not subscribed and you're watching the stream right now, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Every single thing that you do here helps, whether that be comments, subscribing, or liking. Everything helps me a ton. And, you know, this is what I like to do right now. And it really helps when you guys engage and you follow me and you watch my videos. Really, that's all I ask. And you don't even need to do that, but hey, it helps. All right, thank you, Jeremy Swift, for the $20. Lunch is on me. Yeah, thanks, man. That's a huge help, man. Every little bit helps, but thanks a lot, man. Yeah, if you guys want to submit more questions, be sure to do so. Looks like we got about, let's see, 8 minutes left here, so we do have a little bit of time here. And again, thank you once more to Jeremy Swift. All right. Christian, thank you for the $5. Best CPU GPU combo for 1080p 360 hertz. Whoa. I mean, if you want to go best of the best, it looks like you're going to need 5900X plus probably 6900XT is going to be my guess for 1080p. I think it's going to give you the highest frame rate. I think NVIDIA might have an advantage at 4K, especially in DirectX 12. They might actually still beat the 6900XT, but 1080p and 1440p, I expect Big Navi to actually win. All right. Let's see if we can catch some regular chats here. All right, so NVIDIA's Ampere architecture focuses more on workflow. Is AMD's Big Navi going to be the same or more gaming focused? This comes from Bombles. I think that personally, the 6900XT and the RDNA2 architecture in general is going to be more gaming focused. And so with the Ampere architecture, since you've got like the they doubled the FP32 cores, but they didn't double everything in it. They used to have FP32 cores and then integer cores, so they could execute FP32 and integer operations at the same time. Now in Ampere, it's FP32 and FP32 plus int, which means that if int comes across the GPU, as far as I'm aware, that means that you're cut down to only half the FP32 performance, which makes it really great at workstation, but not as good at gaming. Whereas on the other hand, AMD's implementing stuff such as an infinity cache with a bunch of cache to quickly get information to the graphics card, which is really good for gaming type operations. So you have two completely different types of architectures there, and I think that AMD is going to have an architecture that's more gaming focused that will lead to them potentially being the better option for really, really high refresh rate players. So just try to get that in quick, but it looks like we got about 6 minutes left here now, so we do have a little bit of time. Tito Guapito says, is Molex to PCIe safe? I'm gonna hesitate to answer that question because here's what I'll say. In my experience, I've done it. I don't really have a problem with it. If you're doing really high-end graphics cards, I would avoid it just because it looks bad. Like, maybe just get a new power supply if you're having to revert to that. But I'm not going to fully comment on whether or not that's a good thing to do. I haven't looked into how much power Molex supplies, to be honest with you guys. I know how much power 8 pins supply. I know how much power the CPU headers supply, but I have not looked into that, so I'm not going to fully answer that question, I guess. Sorry I couldn't give you a full answer there, but I wouldn't do it with a really high-end graphics card, mainly just because it looks bad. All right, and then we got $10 from Alex Wallen. Thank you very much. He said, you said you would buy a new shirt during the 5,000 launch event. Do it. Hey, listen, I'm going to get to it. I got baby steps here. You see this behind me? I got to that. And to be honest with you, that's pretty good. Baby steps, all right? This is baby's first shirt, so baby's first wall. Now it's time for baby's second shirt. So I think there's some pretty large baby leaps, in my opinion. But hey, it looks like I might need to back up a little bit here. Sorry about that. Oh, yep, getting myself in frame. All right, looks like we got another super chat. Thank you, Ian Barkhu. Oh, geez, I'm going to butcher this. Barkhusian? Sorry about that, but thank you for the $5. It says, wondering when prices we should look at the... Wondering what prices we should look at for the 2070 Super, 2080, and 2080 Ti. Guys offering $300 unopened for 2070 Super. Thoughts? Actually, that's not bad, considering the fact that you can't find any graphics cards right now. I mean, I would maybe wait for this event to happen first to figure out when these cards are going to be available and what kind of availability there might be before buying anything. But to be honest with you, just in general, I mean, $300 for a 2070 Super is not bad. It was just like $500, and you know, $300. So if the 3070 is about 2080 Ti performance right now, then that means that you're paying only $200 more for what, 35% more performance maybe. So if you're worth trading, you know, if it's worth it to you to keep $200 and lose 35% performance, then that kind of makes sense. I have a bit of an issue spending $500 and only getting 8 gigs still. So, you know, to be honest with you, that's not bad. I would consider it personally. It doesn't seem bad to me anyway. All right, we got another super chat here. I'm just going to look this up. What currency is this? I'm going to find this out. We're going to figure it out. Danish krone, I was correct. Ha. How did I not know the euro, but I know the Danish krone? Okay, well, I did know the euro. I did. I swear. Okay, so thank you, Kolmar, for the 100 Danish krones. That helps quite a bit. Keep up the good work. Go Team Red. Yeah, I think, you know what? Thanks a lot, but I just got to say, I think it's time for AMD to win in graphics. I think they need to do it. And the reason why, I know a lot of people don't care who wins, and, you know, justifiably so. It shouldn't really matter to you who wins. However, if AMD wins, then it's going to, you know, allow them to sell their whole stack of GPUs much better. So, like, when someone has a flagship GPU, people look at the flagship because they want it, and then they end up buying something lower. And to be honest with you, right now, AMD only has like a 20% dedicated graphics share right now, so they really do need to have a flagship card that's very, very powerful. All right, we got $5 Canadian from Andrew Livanos. By the way, part of the super chat is to help you with your future neck problems. What do you think the future for the 5700 XT will be? I think it'll be phased out over the next year. I hope they drop prices right now, because it'd be honestly a really good budget option if they would. All right, we probably got about 30 seconds left, so maybe one more question we can get in here, and then I'm going to resize this chat. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put their thing in full screen. And by the way, if the audio isn't perfect, if it isn't like literally perfect, let me know. I can on the fly change it very, very quickly. All right, hold on. I'm trying to get out of this chat. Okay, let's answer one more question. Let's see. Do you think their new encoder will be good? I think it'll be better. All right, I think we got probably about like, oh, it looks like it will begin shortly. So this is going to be happening any second here. We are at about 10 a.m. here, at least my time. And so this should be occurring very, very soon. And then, by the way, after the stream, I will be here for a little bit, probably 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how much activity we have. So you can ask questions then as well. All right. Okay, I'll just answer a few more questions here while we're waiting. Show us the stream. Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not happening yet, but sure. Oh, that is not what... There we go. I can try and do a refresh real quick just to make sure. Oh, let's do a refresh. Yeah, it's still not active quite yet. It will be live very shortly. This happened last time. They were a few minutes late. And technically, they're not even late yet. So we will see. Hey, give them a break. I'll resize that a little. Oh, here we go. Okay, starting in 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes to talk here. I'm going to go ahead and full screen that. All right. 50. Let's see what that is. Let's see what that is. I can't believe I forgot what this is, too. Thank you for the super chat, though. Oh, it's Norwegian krone. Right. Okay, thank you for the 50 Norwegian krone. Have some money for the good work. Canadian $5. Well, thank you so much, Thomas Rossad. That helps quite a bit. Looks like we're about 1 minute and 22 seconds now out. So, the hype train. Oh, 2 out. Okay, yeah, I'll turn it on. Is that any better? Is this good? Better? Okay. Just to warn you guys, when they start the stream, this is typically very, very loud, and then they're a lot quieter, so I'll probably have to readjust it back up. So just to let you know. Okay, here we go. Okay. Black bar at the bottom? Why is that? Is it really? Oh, geez. It's somehow... Okay. Alright, is that full screen now? Is that good? That good? Yeah, it looks like... Hold on, it's... There we go. Okay. Yep, we got it. Glad you guys noticed that, because I might not have noticed that. I was just jacking around with my camera and didn't notice that. All right, looks like we're starting in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, choo-choo. All right, let me put my headphones on. I gotta hear this too. Oh, I'm covering up some words here. There we go. How's the audio for you guys, by the way? Just about good? Good? Okay. Looks like they're going to show off a bunch of games. Honestly, all I want to see is the architecture. Music is too loud. I think it'll be good once it starts. Yeah, they better have ray tracing. Finally, we get some more new good renders. I'm sick and tired of using the same 2 images. Yeah, here we go. Showing us a little bit more. I'm excited to see what they have to show.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this second half of our next-gen PC platform launch. I loved seeing all of your excitement when we introduced the Ryzen 5000 series a few weeks ago. It was actually the most watched launch video in AMD history. And I must say, we're very proud of what Zen 3 brings to gamers. But today is all about Big Navi. I'm really excited to show you the new RDNA2 architecture and our full stack of Radeon RX 6000 series products. As you know, we brought the first generation of RDNA architecture to market in 2019 with the Radeon RX 5700XT. And with the combined launch of the 5700XT and the Ryzen 3000 series, AMD became the first company to introduce a high-performance CPU and GPU together. And we delivered a winning combination of computing and gaming performance, including CPU and GPU of the year in 2019 from PC Gamer. Now, 2020 is really the year of the gamer. I know many of you can't wait to get your hands on the next-gen consoles. Whether it's the Microsoft Xbox Series X and Series S or the Sony PlayStation 5, we are so proud that AMD is enabling these incredible gaming experiences, which is why we like to say that AMD is where gaming begins. Now, earlier this month, I showed you our new AMD Ryzen 5000 series, the world's best gaming processor. Our next-gen Ryzen processor combines absolute performance leadership in single-threaded performance, gaming, and creative workloads with leadership performance per watt. And for millions of you, it's a drop-in upgrade to your existing AM4 motherboard. Now, as successful as we've been with Ryzen, many of you have asked us to compete at the highest end of gaming GPUs as well.
Yes.
And today, we're ready to show you exactly what we've been working on. I'm so excited to show you the Radeon RX 6000 series. It's absolutely the most powerful gaming GPU we've ever built. I think you'll be pretty pleased with what you see. I often talk about the fact that we're on a journey, and we are on a journey. Just like with our Zen CPU architecture, we're on a multi-year journey in GPUs with our RDNA architecture. We designed RDNA specifically for gaming, And our first-gen RDNA products delivered 50% better performance per watt over our GCN architecture. We wanted to take another big step with RDNA2 and deliver another 50% generational improvement in perf per watt.
That's impressive.
And with RDNA2, we also set the very ambitious goal to deliver leadership gaming performance. And now I'm very happy to show you for the first time, Big Navi. This is the chip at the heart of our high-end Radeon RX 6000 series.
That's big.
26.8 billion transistors built with leading-edge 7-nanometer process technology. Big Navi is our first product powered by RDNA2. We have made incredible progress on the architectural front. And now let me turn it over to AMD fellow Laura Smith to give you more details on the architecture.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hopefully she's less nervous this time.
Our graphics architecture roadmap has a clear goal: gaming leadership across the ecosystem. The GCN was a great architecture, but we knew we needed to rethink graphics and build the best engine for the future. We wanted to build a set of technologies that game developers could use across all platforms. The first major step was RDNA, introduced last year. RDNA was a new architecture and used a 7-nanometer process node, which helped us with the large initial gains. We committed to you that our engineers had plans in the works for RDNA2, and we would be back quickly with another significant improvement. By combining our expertise in CPU design, deep gaming history, and broad ecosystem partnerships, RDNA2 is built to be the gaming architecture for all gamers across console, PC, and beyond. We had some very ambitious goals with RDNA2. Significantly higher
Infinity
performance,
Cache.
50% improvement in performance per watt, and new hardware features. Individually, each of these goals is challenging. When combined, they become extremely difficult because as you push performance, a natural side effect is more power. New features also mean more computation, further challenging both speed and power metrics. For RDNA2, we made significant gains in all these areas. The compute unit is the core of the architecture. We advanced all aspects of the compute unit design, leveraging techniques first developed in CPUs. We deployed pervasive fine-grained clock gating, reimagined the pipeline to aggressively maximize performance while minimizing data movement.
There it is. I was just talking about that.
These elements made the compute units 30% more energy efficient, allowing them to be pushed faster. Gaming at 4K requires more data to be brought into the chip. The amount of data more than doubles as we move from 1440p to 4K. The more efficient the memory subsystem is, the higher fidelity the images are, and the more you can push the frame rates. We took a new approach to solving this technical challenge for gaming and deployed a graphics-optimized, high-density, high-speed cache based on the Zen L3 cache. We call this the Infinity Cache. The Infinity Cache minimizes DRAM bottlenecks, latencies, and power consumption. Our specialized Infinity Cache, combined with a 256-bit G6 interface, delivers more than twice the effective bandwidth of a traditional 384-bit G6 solution.
Wow.
And at lower power consumption.
They really
High
got some magic
frequency
there.
is important for gaming performance. RDNA2 is built with custom libraries and high-speed design flows, maximizing frequency in 7-nanometer. With RDNA2, our silicon design and architectural improvements, we are able to deliver 30% faster frequencies in the same 7-nanometer process node. Pulling all this together, the RDNA2 architecture beats our aggressive performance per watt goal, achieving 54%. With RDNA2, we also focused on bringing new hardware features into the architecture. We partnered closely with Microsoft on DirectX 12 Ultimate features, including DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, mesh shaders, and sampler feedback. RDNA2 will also support Microsoft Direct Storage API. We're excited about this new API that will enhance the gaming experience by significantly reducing game asset load times from large SSDs. We compared the performance of RDNA2 to our prior generation. And when we put it all together, on average, RDNA2 delivers double the performance, and with great
Wow.
power efficiency. We are so proud of what we've accomplished with RDNA2, and we are not stopping. The team is executing to plan, RDNA2 is here, and the RDNA3 team is well into execution. Let me welcome Scott Herkelman to show RDNA2 in our new RX 6000 series products.
This is literally everything we thought it was going to be. The clocks being boosted, you know, with all the Infinity Cache design. In fact, the Infinity Cache is better than I thought it would be. This is very, very impressive.
Hello to all of the gamers tuning in, and welcome to our Radeon RX 6000 series product reveal. As a hardcore League of Legends and Borderlands 3 player and playing these games on our RX 6000 series over the past few weeks, I'm so excited and proud to be here with you today. Allow me to introduce you to our brand new AMD Radeon RX 6800XT graphics card.
There it is, 72 compute units.
The 6800XT is purposefully designed to play all of your favorite AAA games at 4K and below resolutions.
Wow.
And at the highest quality settings available. It comes with 72 compute units and runs with a game clock of over 2 gigahertz. This card features a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock that pushes some of the highest frequencies we've ever achieved. All thanks to the incredible work done by our engineering team on the RDNA2 architecture. The 6800XT will also feature 128 megabytes of Infinity Cache that is power efficient while driving the bandwidth needed for high resolution gaming. Paired with 16 gigabytes of blazing fast GDDR6 memory, you'll be ready for the most demanding high resolution games that you want to play. And we've delivered all of this incredible performance with a total board power of just 300 watts. As you can see,
there it is,
300 XT not only delivers on 4K 60 frames per second, but in most cases, it overperforms. We've been maxing out all the settings in games like Battlefield 5, Borderlands 3, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and the performance has just been awesome to experience. Let's take a look at how the 6800 XT competes head-to-head against the latest offering from the competition. Here, we compare their best API scores to our best API scores, the best versus the best. And as you can see, the 6800 XT trades blows and has some significant wins across a variety of titles.
That's a good result.
And it does all of this at less power consumption than the competition. For the 1440p gamers out there, we have some great results for you too. Over the last several years, more and more gamers have adopted 1440p monitors as their display of choice. Here are the same games we showed you before, running the same best versus best API scenario
there it is.
At 1440p resolution. I personally love seeing so many games running at over 100 frames per second with all of the settings maxed out. This is just an incredible amount of performance. All in all, the 6800 XT is a fantastic choice for enthusiast gamers. We even have more performance we are delivering with 2 very cool features. The first is a one-click overclocking button we've built into our Radeon software package that we call
PBO.
Rage Mode. Now, Rage Mode automatically takes
I like
advantage
Rage
of
Mode,
the
though. That
overclocking
sounds good.
headroom built into your GPU to give you every bit of performance it has to offer. And the second is made possible because of the fact that only AMD can deliver both high-performance processors and high-performance GPUs. We call this new feature AMD Smart Access Memory. AMD Smart Access Memory unlocks the greater amount of high-speed memory from the AMD Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards to the AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, and it delivers additional levels of performance in games. Simply pair these components with our 500 series chipset motherboards, enable the setting in the BIOS, and the performance uplift becomes automatic. When you combine AMD Smart Access Memory with the one-click overclocking of Rage Mode, you'll get a boost in performance in many of the games you love.
Meanwhile, NVIDIA has
a 13% performance increase.
That's 10% more than NVIDIA is getting from overclocking.
Begin to optimize for this new capability. Now, we know a lot of you absolutely love frames per second performance just like us. However, we can also improve the game experience by reducing latency. The differences of milliseconds of latency in a competitive game can be the difference between a major win and a major loss. Last year, we pushed the industry to recognize there was a better way to provide competitive gamers with less latency from mouse click to the screen, giving competitive gamers who own the RX 5000 series a serious leg up on their competition. Today, we are pushing the boundaries again and further reducing latency in competitive games for even better results. Combining the latest implementation of Radeon anti-lag with the FreeSync monitor can reduce lag in your DX9 and in your DX11 games. In Fortnite, for example, gamers can realize up to 8 milliseconds of latency reduction by simply enabling this feature in Radeon software. More recently, we introduced Radeon Boost, a unique feature that's a step beyond anti-lag. For select games, Radeon Boost offers dynamic resolution in response to your mouse or controller inputs, leading to higher frame rates and, as a result, quicker responses to your input. Both Radeon Anti-Lag and Radeon Boost can be enabled via the Radeon software that comes with your graphics cards, and neither of them require a proprietary API or a game integration to provide latency-reducing benefits. As you can see, the combination of these technologies can contribute up to 37%.
That's impressive, but I gotta know the price. You got me on a good GPU. Show me the DLS, show me the ray tracing, show me the price.
Performance is king, but let's talk for a minute about how we are improving the visual experience as well. With full hardware support for DX12 Ultimate, the Radeon RX 6000 series is ready to enable ray tracing and variable rate shading in upcoming titles. We've also expanded our library of Fidelity FX features to work hand in hand with ray tracing, compute, and shader effects to enable the higher level of visual fidelity while ensuring high frame rates. For DX12 Ultimate, we've added an optimized denoiser for ray tracing effects and a variable rate shading algorithm that can adapt image quality based upon luminance and motion. We've also added a suite of compute-based effects to be used alongside ray tracing, like optimized screen space reflections and an optimized ambient occlusion. We're always looking to help developers with new initiatives and are already working on a super resolution feature to give gamers an option for more performance when using ray tracing. As of today, our AMD Fidelity FX supported games list has grown to 35 titles using a variety of our features. So let's take a look at some of these new features in an upcoming game with never before seen footage from Counterplay Studios and their fantastic game, Godfall. Godfall is a brand new third-person perspective, next-generation looter slasher that challenges gamers to engage in high-impact melee combat as they hunt for loot, equip legendary armor, and defeat vicious enemies. Leveraging the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate API, Godfall features DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, and supports Fidelity FX CAS to deliver incredible levels of stunning fidelity. I personally can't wait to play this game, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
Kind of sounds like they don't have
let's hear from a
DLSS
few
working
more
yet.
of our game developer partners
That makes
about
me
the work they've
nervous.
done with us on RDNA2 and what you can expect in their games coming soon.
CAS is not the same as DLSS.
I'm here to talk about Far Cry 6 and some of the new technologies we've been collaborating with AMD on to make our game the most immersive and beautiful Far Cry ever. We've been working together to take full advantage of the new Radeon RX 6000 series and RDNA2 architecture for best possible experience. We've been very impressed by AMD's latest tech and joined forces to bring Fidelity FX CAS, DXR ray tracing, and variable rate shading to Far Cry 6.
We're using VRS Tier 2 to use a compute shader to generate a control texture which analyzes the luminance and gives us control at an 8x8 tile level as to what shader rate we're going to be using. This enables us to render much more quickly but keep the same
Looks like
quality
YouTube
level.
quality.
We're excited to team up with great partners like AMD to bring some new features to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is built on a custom engine using the DirectX 12 Ultimate API. Another great feature on the RX 6000 is DXR ray tracing. Here you can see ray tracing evident in how the shadows are interacting with your character. What you're seeing involves incredibly complex computations on the RX 6000. This is a level of realism that hasn't been possible until
I'll be honest with you guys, that one's not as impressive.
The RDNA2 architecture and the Radeon 6000 series allowed us to introduce some of the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate technologies into our engine. Real-time ray-traced shadows allow us to introduce additional shadow casting lights into the scene that provide
That's good.
much more immersion
That's impressive.
and detail into the world.
Over the next few weeks, developers of these incredible games will show never-before-seen gameplay with gorgeous graphics that use a combination of ray tracing and fidelity effects running on the Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards. Be sure to check out AMD.com starting tomorrow to see more. I'm happy to announce that the Radeon RX 6800XT will be available on November 18th, starting at $649.
There it is, $650.
But
Yep.
we are not done yet.
That's
Today,
not bad.
we are also
That's
announcing
not
the
bad.
Radeon RX 6800 with 60 compute
60
units,
computes, okay.
a 1.815 gigahertz game clock with a boost clock of over 2.1 gigahertz.
Not bad.
It will feature the same 128 megabytes of Infinity cache and be available with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, with a board power of just 250 watts.
I mean, 250
the
watts is
Radeon
still a lot,
RX 6800
but
is a
it's a lot less
fantastic
than
entry
NVIDIA.
to 4K gaming, delivering more performance than the 2080 Ti, which was launched at $999. The 6800 delivers over 60 frames per second in all of these games, giving you the confidence
This is the
you
card
need
to
to
buy.
step into the 4K
This is
gaming
what you
experience. That same great performance extends to 1440p
This plus
resolution, where
overclocking?
the RX 6800
Oh
tears
yeah,
through
this
the
is
latest
what
games.
I want. This thing is
delivering
going to
about
absolutely
18%
smack
more
around the
performance
3070.
than
Good
the
luck,
2080
NVIDIA.
Ti
How
on
are you
average.
going to compete
The
with
Radeon
this?
RX 6800 will be available to gamers starting at a price of $579.
That's how
November
they'll
18th.
compete with this.
Now,
3070 is
let's bring back
cheaper.
Lisa to
But
wrap
guys,
things up.
$80 more for 16 gigabytes of VRAM and significantly higher performance, at least from what they were showing. 6800 seems like the better purchase to me over a
Thanks, Scott and
3070.
Laura. The AMD Radeon 6800 XT and 6800 deliver simply incredible 4K and 1440p gaming experiences. This is the power of RDNA2. And once we add the smart access memory
6800 should have been
technology, gamers can
500,
even get
550
higher
though.
frames per second when pairing Radeon 6000 GPUs with Ryzen 5000 series. Now, I saw online that some of you were wondering which Big Navi product we previewed during our Ryzen 5000 launch earlier this month. For the record, that was the 6800 XT. But you know, we always save the best for last, and I always get the most fun jobs. So today, that means I have one more GPU to show you.
6900
We didn't
XT,
stop
80
with the
compute
Radeon
units.
RX 6800 XT. We knew that the RDNA2 architecture could give gamers even more. I'm so excited to share with you for the very first time the AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT. Now, isn't this just absolutely gorgeous? And you'll see that it's actually relatively compact for all the performance that it delivers. It's actually the same size as our 6800 XT card. Our top-of-the-stack Radeon GPU is built for the ultimate in 4K
I can't
gaming
believe
performance.
that
The
128
6900 XT
megabytes is right. Well, I
combines 80
can,
compute
but like,
units with
gosh,
a
that's a
2.25
lot.
gigahertz boost clock to deliver even more performance at the highest settings. With 16 gigabytes of graphics memory, the 6900 XT is ready for the most
Yeah,
demanding
get ready
next-gen
for $800 to
games.
$1,000 on
And
this
with
one.
the power efficiency of RDNA2, we've been able to deliver all of this with a total board power of 300 watts.
Much better than the
Now, Laura
3090
showed
board
you
power.
that we achieved a 54% generational improvement in perf per watt with the 6800 XT. With the 6900 XT, we improved things even more, hitting 65% more performance per watt
Wow.
over first-gen RDNA. I'm so proud of our engineers who worked incredibly hard to optimize every aspect of RDNA2 to achieve this performance. Now let's see how all of this translates to gaming performance. Running at 4K with the
Can they
highest
beat the
settings, the
3090?
6900 XT looks absolutely fantastic. It's extremely competitive across the board, consistently delivering high frame rates in your favorite games.
Rest in pasta.
Just take a look at the performance we see against the competition in Battlefield 5, Call of Duty,
Rest
and
in
Gears of
peace,
War 5.
3090.
All of this is
I
at
knew
lower
it was gonna
power
happen.
with a smaller card form factor.
Wow.
Now, let's talk about price and
AMD won
availability.
it.
The AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT will be available on December 8th, starting at $999. You asked for AMD to bring the highest graphics performance to the gaming market, and we're doing just that. I hope you now feel that with the Ryzen 5000 series and the Radeon 6000 series, AMD is your best choice for your next generation PC gaming platform. Whether you want a game with ultimate performance in AAA titles at 4K resolution, or you're an esports fan,
It's still not better than
incredibly high frame
1500.
rates and responsiveness, across the board for every gamer at every price AMD has the CPU and GPU combination for you.
Gosh,
so I
this
hope
makes the
you're as
video look
excited as we
stupid,
are.
though.
We can't wait to get these products in your hands. So look for the Ryzen 5000 series starting November 5th, the Radeon RX 6800 series starting November 18th, and the Radeon RX 6900XT starting December 8th. To wrap up
November
here, this has
5th
been
for the
quite a journey for us.
6800XT?
And I'm
Guys, you
incredibly
gotta
proud
help
of our
me get
CPU
one.
and GPU teams who have
I'll send
worked
you my
years
P.O.
for this
box.
moment. AMD is delivering the best to the industry. We want to thank all of you for your passion and enthusiasm and for always pushing us to be the best.
November 5th, November 18th, and December 8th. Okay. Whoa. Nice GPU. I think that's everything in their stream right now. So I'm going to kind of go back and look at some slides here, and we're going to talk about it because this is an exciting event. It pretty much everything I've been talking about for the last couple of months did end up coming true. All those leaks, I'm not going to take full credit. There was a lot of leaks. So basically, all the leaks that we've been talking about, especially over the last couple of weeks, were very, very accurate. And Red Gaming Tech, he must be Lisa Sue's nephew or something because he had some good information on this stuff, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed to Red Gaming Tech, you may want to give him a look. He does make some very interesting content.
And
he has a
deployed it.
lot of, it seems like, insider information, so he's a good source for that sort of stuff. Why is this like this? Why can I not? Okay, it looks like we're going to have to look at it like this for a bit. So I want to go ahead and take a look at the 6800XT here first. If I can get a good look at it. I'm not going to have the audio, by the way. Let's go back. Where is it? There it is. Okay, I want to pause on this. So the 6800XT is pretty much everything. Oh, by the way, we got a super chat. Let's get to that first. All right, thank you, the Witchmaster, for the $5. It helps a ton. To be honest, those are fair prices compared to NVIDIA. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like the 6900XT, it's really expensive, but like, could you imagine if you bought a 3090 for $1,500? How silly you must feel. Like, yeah, the ray tracing will be better. Yes, DLSS is an important feature in it. I'm very concerned that AMD didn't show off something to combat that directly. I heard they might be working on something, but they don't have anything to show right now. So yes, I understand that might be worth something to you, but like to spend $500 more for what effectively in most games is going to be 0% more performance, because it looked like the 6900XT was matching, if not beating, the 3090 in pretty much every game. So, wow, rest in peace. All right, thank you, Pelagius the Wise. Have you ever heard the tale of Pelagius the Wise? Thank you for the $5. RTX 3090 got killed. 3080 and 3070 are holding up fine. I think the 3070 is an okay spot. I think it's in a worse spot than the 3080. I think the 3080 was priced aggressively enough, and the 10 gigabytes is enough where, you know what, I could see people spending another $50 and getting a 3080. With the 3070, I think that 8 gigabytes is just, it's too close to not being enough. You know, it's just, it feels bad, man. It feels real bad to spend that kind of money and only get that. So I could definitely see why people would be a little bit disappointed with that and might want to spend, just another $80 to get double the VRAM and more performance. Personally, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's why NVIDIA needs a $600 10 gigabyte 3070, the 3070 Ti, which should be coming out pretty soon. But in any case, okay, looks like we have another $5 from Kenton. Thank you very much. Been watching you for months, and 10 out of 10. Keep up the good work, man. Well, thank you so much for watching, and again, thank you for the $5. Helps a ton. Kenny G sends over $5. Thank you very much for that. I like your Raichu and Pikachu picture. Why is DLSS so important? So DLSS is so important because, and I talked about this on the podcast with Chris from The Good Old Gamer, but going forward, it might not be NVIDIA's DLSS that's used. In fact, it probably won't be, but eventually things are going to change where a technology like DLSS is going to enable much less capable graphics cards and graphics devices to be able to produce graphics that they just wouldn't be able to otherwise. It's going to be a game-changing feature. Now, right now, it's only in a handful of games. It's not that big of a deal, but the idea of DLSS is a big deal, especially DLSS 2.0, because when NVIDIA shows it working, and I've seen it working in action with my own eyes, and I have better than 20/20 vision, so better than the average person's vision. I really can't tell the difference between DLSS and native, and on top of that, it basically doubles your frame rate. So if they can get that working on a global scale, DLSS is a big deal. So that's why I was a little bit disappointed to see that AMD didn't have an answer for that. However, they did have an answer for the cards in terms of their performance that matters essentially right now. And to be honest with you, that's the most important. Yes, DLSS is a cool technology. When it works, it's awesome, but it doesn't always work. In fact, most of the time it doesn't because it's just not implemented. By the way, thank you, Alex Borges, for the clap 2000. What's CLP? Let's look that up. CLP. Whoa. Chilean peso. All right. Well, thank you for the 2,000 pesos. Helps a bunch. Oh, you got a nice little animation there of a guy with his coffee. All right. Cool stuff. All right. $5 from Skyhawk Brissett. Thank you very much. He says, I got a 3090. The 24 gigabyte of faster VRAM makes it so much more worth it for workstation use. 16 gigabytes feels like it's limiting my workloads. Yeah, it depends on the workload that you use it for. So, like, if you need a card that has 24 gigabytes of VRAM, people are willing to pay a lot of money for that, and that makes sense. But there's a lot of people who go out and buy graphics cards for gaming, and they just want the best of the best just for gaming. It doesn't matter about workstation whatsoever. They'll never use it for workstation. And in that case, I kind of feel bad for the people who did that, but at the same time I don't, because clearly they have money to just burn because they didn't need it for workstation. They're not making money off it. They just want to play games, and they basically have spent $500 more than they needed to get a card that's potentially even worse. And another thing I'll say about that 24 gigabytes of VRAM and workstation task thing is there's definitely applications out there that will use those 24 gigabytes and makes it absolutely worth it. But at the same time, this card, in my opinion, really isn't a Titan because it doesn't have the same driver support as a Titan, which means that in certain workstation loads, the 3090 is going to fall behind. I do expect NVIDIA will roll out a Titan at some point. So that's a little bit disappointing. But yeah, there are reasons to buy a 3090. You shouldn't feel bad if you have a reason to buy a card. You know, don't let someone shame you into buy. You know, if you need it, you need it, man. There's nothing wrong with buying what you want. Where is Leo? Okay, so I have an orange cat named Leo. By the way, thank you, John York, for the $5. He's an orange cat. He's a little hellion. And I can't have him streaming in here with me because he'd just be, wandering around, getting into stuff. Well, I don't know. Maybe he'd be sleeping too. But yeah, he's too much to handle when I'm trying to do a live stream. But I've had him in videos before. All right, thank you, David W., for the $100. Wow, dude, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. That honestly helps so much. He says, love your content, man. Here's some funds for the new AMD GPU. Well, I tell you what, man. Thank you again so much for the $100. That helps a ton, and I definitely will be putting that towards buying a 6800XT. And to be honest with you, I'm almost a little bit more excited with the 6800 because you know what I'm going to do with that 6800? Here's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and get a 6800 with a dual BIOS, flash the BIOS to 6800XT, power play mod the thing so I can get the clock speeds as high as the 6800XT as well. Or actually higher. I'm going to overclock it. And I'm going to try and replace the paste with liquid metal. And so I'm going to try and take that GPU from 2.1 gigahertz max. I'm going to try and get it to a stable 2.3 gigahertz as a game clock and see if I can get that done, because if you can, you effectively have bought a $580 graphics card, which is faster than an RTX 3080. And if that's the case, that's one heck of a deal. And I think you'll be able to do it. But we'll see, because you probably won't be able to unlock the shaders. But again, thank you very much for the $100, David W. Helps a ton. All right, Plagius the Wise, thank you for the $5. 3090 and 3070 got killed. 3080 is doing fine. I kind of agree with that. I think NVIDIA priced their stuff aggressively enough with the 3070 and 3080 that there are definitely still reasons as to why you might want them. Like, I gotta be honest with you, if you want to experience Cyberpunk with the absolute best settings and the best performance, your only option might be NVIDIA. Like, if you want to run ray tracing with the highest frame rate on day one, and that's gonna be let's be honest, it's gonna be a purchasing factor for some people. Yeah, it might make sense to buy an NVIDIA card still, but I think for overall, the 3070 and 3080 don't look as impressive when compared to, say, the 6800 and 6800 XT. I think the 6800 especially is going to end up being good value after overclocking, but at the same time, it depends on how well it overclocked, and I think they did price them just a little too high, in my opinion. I think the 6800 should have been $550 max. I think that it would have been better at $500. And I think that the 6800 XT should have been basically $600. So if it would have been $500 and $600, would have been a lot more impressive. But it's still a good option, though. All right, and then Ryan Green sent £5. Thank you very much. I bought a 3090, and boy, I'm feeling shafted right now. Well, yeah, I mean, if you bought it for gaming, if you're in that return window and you have a backup card, I'd maybe consider it. If you bought it for a workstation task and you can really use it, then, and you need the 24 gigabytes, hey, you need it, they gotcha, you gotta do it. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do? You need it. But if you just bought it for gaming, I would maybe consider returning it. It depends on if you really want that ray tracing and DLSS that will probably be better on NVIDIA, but we got to wait for third-party reviews. That might not be the case. All right, but it's looking like NVIDIA is going to have better ray tracing performance. And then we got $10 from Daniel D'Alessandro. Thank you very much. Can we get a dedicated reaction video for the 3090 being killed? That was hilarious. I want to say yes. I want to clip that out and put it in a video, but at the same time, here I'll make a compromise with you. The whole stream is going to be available to Patreons, but what I might do is upload a separate video to Patreon or something with that, because the problem is, as much as I'd like to put that on my main channel, the way YouTube works is like I have to keyword things specifically. They have to be specific content. It has to be at a specific time. And if I don't do that, then the algorithm won't like it and it'll hurt my channel, actually. So like, I'd love to do stuff like that, but my channel isn't big enough to risk doing content like that, which is a little bit unfortunate. But if you're on Patreon, you will absolutely have access to it, and I might even like clip it out. We'll see. So all my Patreon supporters do get access to these streams after they go down, because once I take these off of live, once they're not live anymore, then what happens is that they're unlisted, and you only can get to it from a private link, which you have access to from Discord. So, or I'm sorry, not from Discord, from Patreon, which, by the way, if you're on Patreon, you get access to my Discord as well, which I do hop in there every now and then and talk to some people. So, all right, thank you for the $200 Danish krones, I believe, right? I think I got that right. Let's see, Danish krones, right? Yeah. Okay. So what is that in US? $31. Hey man, that's pretty good. That's quite a bit. Thanks a lot for the $31. Friday every day. Yeah, I like that. The question is if this will speed up NVIDIA delivery time. I think it'll speed up the delivery of the 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti, because let's be honest. If NVIDIA gives you a 3080 Ti for $1,000 that has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, that's pretty competitive with the 6900 XT. It doesn't have to win. It just has to give you basic, roughly the same performance, plus slightly better software stack, which, let's be honest right now, NVIDIA does have a little bit more of a beefy software stack. I personally think it is anyway. I think we can maybe... They've proven their drivers to be a little bit more stable over the last couple of years. They've proven to have some features that AMD didn't have over the last couple of years. But at the same time, AMD rolled out some new stuff that NVIDIA had to adopt. So it's not like they're way better, but NVIDIA, they've proven themselves a little bit more when it comes to software. So I could see them at $1,000 being very competitive with a 3080 Ti. At $600 with a 3070 Ti, I think that's very competitive as well, because if your 3070 Ti is as good as the 6800, if not better, then you're looking at a situation where, well, a lot of people just spend the extra $20 so that they can get DLSS working with ray tracing on day one with Cyberpunk. And I bring this up multiple times because I gotta be honest with you guys, Cyberpunk is one of those games that people have been waiting for, and they will be willing to spend more on a graphics card that will allow you to get the maximum settings on day one. All right, let's see here. See if I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did. Oh, I did. I think I missed this one. Okay, thank you for the $2 Top Keck guy. That face when I want one of these, but I have a G-Sync monitor. Oh man, I remember when I had a G-Sync monitor, and I gotta tell you, glad I got FreeSync now because they both support it. So, yeah, I have a buddy who has G-Sync right now too, and it's one of those things where you might just have to, if you want one of these cards, you might just not have to have that. I don't know, maybe you can sell your monitor and get a new one, but monitors don't sell well. It's just, gosh, G-Sync, I wish everyone had just been with FreeSync from the beginning, but had NVIDIA not pushed G-Sync, we wouldn't have gotten FreeSync. At least I don't think so. So sometimes you got to create the technology first to push people forward. All right, we still got a lot of watchers here, and so I think I will be on for a little bit longer here, probably in the next half hour to an hour, answering a bunch of questions. So if you have any questions, make sure to get them in. Thank you for the 5... It's not pounds. What? Euros. That's right. Yeah, thank you for the 5 euros. My brain is just... This announcement's too exciting, all right? My brain is just freaking out. But thank you for the 5 euros, Neo Human. Cheers from France. Love your show. Keep up the good work. David. Well, thanks a lot, David. I believe that's what your name is in any case. Otherwise, I don't know why you would say David, because that's not my name. But yeah, it helps a lot. I'm glad that you are enjoying it, and it's nice to see that we have people all the way over from France. All right. So I want to talk about this slide here for a little second here, and then I'll get to some more questions. This is exactly what I was expecting. I've been saying this. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. There's been a lot of people who have been saying this, so, you know, whatever. But I have been saying over the last couple of weeks that, you know, the 6800 XT, I expect 72 compute units. I expect it to hit, I think I was saying between 2.2 and 2.3 gigahertz, so that seems about right. Game clock I was expecting over 2 gigahertz. Sounds about right. I remember saying, like, that Infinity Cache, at first I was a little suspicious. I was like, really? Is this Infinity Cache going to be able to save them? But when they showed what the Infinity Cache made the GPU capable of doing, I was shocked. I thought that maybe it would be somewhat of a bottleneck, but apparently this is a strong point for them. And I knew there's going to be Infinity Cache, but 128 megabytes, I was like, really? But that, geez, yeah, 128 megabytes. And you can see in their GPU die, there's a whole bunch of space where there weren't compute units. Clearly they're putting cache there. And that must have helped quite a bit, because it allowed them to have some really fast GPUs. And 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. I mean, that is just so awesome. It makes sure that you don't have to worry about it at all. And that's all we need to ask for. And then 300 watts TDP. I was like, you know, I think these cards are going to go up, but I don't think they're going to be as high. 300 watts, I think I even said, like, I expect 1600 XT or 6900 XT to be up to 300 watts. I think it said 6900 XT. So that's good to see. It's good to see that they're kind of not pushing it too far, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more extra overclocking headroom. And it looks like we got another super chat in here. You missed my previous super chat. I did. I'll have to go back and look for it. Love your content. Keep rocking. Love from India. Yeah, thank you so much, Danush Kumar, for the, is that 100 Indian rupees? I think that is. I'm getting it down. Yeah, Indian rupees. Awesome. Awesome. So thank you for the, I think that's $1.35. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, man. Let me go back and look for your last one. Dana. Let's see if I can find it. I guess I can't go far enough back now. Dang. Sorry about that, man. All right. So we got one more super chat from Crime Lab Gaming. 125. Is that Filipino something? Let's find out. We're playing, yeah, Philippine peso. Hey, I'm right on it. Thank you for the $2.50. Crime Lab Gaming, waiting for benchmark. Yeah, third-party benchmarks, you definitely got to wait for that. All right, we got another super chat in from Luigi Pastelli. Here we go. Let's find out what this one is. All right, let me know in the comments what you think it is. Here we go. Our currency, Brazilian real. I believe that's what it is. Very epic. Truly epic. All right. Let me know if I got that right. I believe that's the Brazilian real. What do you think is better, a 5700 XT, 3080, or 6800 XT? I assume you mean in value. Right now, I wouldn't buy a 5700 XT just because it seems like they haven't gone down in price yet. They gotta go down in price. 3080 or 6800 XT. I'm more excited for a 6800 XT because all the reviews they're already in for the 3080. I'm not interested anymore. We're so close to the November 5th. I really want to try and get a 6800 XT. I think it's going to be an awesome graphics card. So I'm more excited for that one. Which one's better, 3080 or 6800 XT? I think it depends on what you value more. So if you value a card that has more memory, then the 6800 XT is going to be for you. And because it has a little bit more value as well. And then if you value a card that has more like ray tracing DLSS type of support, then the 3080 might be for you, but it also is a little more expensive. I think AMD positioned themselves well, but it could have been better. They could have brought in the 6800 XT at 600 and the 6800 at 500, and I think that would have put them in a much better position. So there would have been no question then. But hey, they got to make their money, and why wouldn't they price their cards at where they're pricing them right now? Because it's already better, and on top of that, you got to remember that like it's going to be hard to get these cards, all right? So why wouldn't you ask for more money if they're going to be in limited, supplies? I mean, high demand, that's what happens. So, all right, we got another super chat from Friday Everyday. Thank you very much once again for the 200 Danish krones. The question is if this will speed up NVIDIA delivery time. So I think I kind of tried to answer this earlier. In terms of 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti, yes. This might push NVIDIA to, you might be trying to ask this might push NVIDIA to move TSMC quicker. I just discussed on the podcast, Techonomics with the good old gamer, how they might be moving to 7 nanometer now in less than 18 months, whereas they have been over the last couple generations more than 18 months. So you might even see a generation next year on 7 nanometer. It's certainly possible because, to be honest with you, that 6900 XT makes NVIDIA look silly. If it does end up winning on average, this will be the first generation in I can't even remember how long that NVIDIA's been dethroned. They do not like that happening. They can't release a bigger RTX 3090. They can only cut the 3090 VRAM in half and lower the price, and it's still not going to win. In fact, it'll be slower. So they're in a really precarious position. This is not good for them. All right, now I will get to some more questions in a second here, but I want to go ahead and move on and look at the 6800 because that's another interesting one. Oh, let's look at the results here real quick too. So we could crunch the numbers, but I think I'll save that for a video. I'll be putting up a video today talking about the 3070 and Big Navi, of course. And so you definitely stick around. That'll be going up later today. And then in that video, I'll try and crunch the numbers and whatnot. But right now, let's just talk about it. Let's just have a chat here. So in terms of 1440p, which I think this is the most important resolution, it looks like basically the 6800 XT is winning. So if you have a 1440p monitor, Battlefield 5, Borderlands 3, Modern Warfare, Division 2, Doom Eternal, Horizon 4, Gears 5, Resident Evil 3, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Wolfenstein, Youngblood, is pretty much winning in the majority of these titles. In the ones that it's losing, it's barely losing. I'd say overall, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like 5% faster at 1440p. Oh, did we get 1,000 likes? Did we get 1,000 likes? Epic. Epic. Whoa. All right. All right, let's see. I won't be surprised it's about 5% faster. And for $50 less, hey, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. But although that is interesting and it draws less power, very cool. I want to go ahead and take a look at, another thing we should mention is the overclocking, because they mentioned how the If you enable the setting between the CPU and GPU, the performance could go up, and rage mode can make the performance go up. But what about manual overclocking? I mean, what if we shove like 400 watts into this card and we stabilize their boost clock? Like if you up the voltage and power and we get their boost clock to be basically the game clock, that could have some pretty good improvements there. All right, but in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at the 6800. That one, to me, is the most impressive. So let's find it. Here's some YouTube quality content for you. This is what it looks like when you watch a gameplay on YouTube. All right, there he's showing off the price. Very nice, very nice. But here's the 6800. So it's got 60 computers. So this is the one I was actually wrong on. So I thought it'd be 64. I was close, sure, but hey, you gotta say when you're wrong. I was wrong. I thought it'd be 64, and it's 60. So it's gonna be a little bit less, but clearly that doesn't matter too much because the performance looks really good. And for 250 watts, this is gonna be an overclocking monster because that means that we probably can bring this one up to like 350 to 400 watts and make it surpass potentially the 6800 XT, or at least get very, very close and do it for $70 less, which I think makes it exceptionally good value because even if they try and limit the clocks, I'm sure there will be a way to overclock this from 2.1 to 2.25 gigahertz. It might take more power, it might take more voltage, but I'm sure it can be done if you slap a good cooler on that. I really want to see if we can get a third-party version, but hey, I'll get anything I can get my hands on November 5th, which looks like it'll be the 6800 XT. I will definitely do so. If I can't get the 6800 XT, I'll get the 6800. If I can't get that, I'll get the 6900 XT. I'm going to get something. It's going to happen. Even if it means, like, 6900 XT is so expensive that I couldn't hang on to it. It wouldn't make sense. I'd have to resell it. If that's the case, I'll do it. Because I got to get one of these cards. Hey, I'll send you my P.O. box. Send me one. But in any case, looks like we got a super chat in from Chris Rice. Hey, man, good stuff. Love the channel. Are those numbers 1440p on with FreeSync too? Yeah, the one I was just showing off was on 1440p. I doubt they were enabling FreeSync because when you enable FreeSync, it actually reduces your top score. So when you're benchmarking cards, people actually they turn off FreeSync and G-Sync because it just shows them in their best technical light. Even though it's a worse experience, it gives you a technically better score. So that's why people do that. And it looks like how many people we got left. So we still got quite a few people in the chat here. So if you got any more questions you want to ask, go ahead and do so here. I'll try and get to a few people sending regular questions. Let's see. 6800 competes. Okay, yeah. 3080 from Tech Powers review has 510 more FPS at 4K than the FPS of the 6800 XT given by AMD. Yeah, well, you never know. It's like when they show these things off, just like with NVIDIA, AMD, NVIDIA, Intel. Sorry, it's early, geez. They give you their best results. So you always got to take it with a little bit of grain of salt. So it could be that these results we're looking at right now, they're a little bit optimistic. It could end up being that maybe the 6800 XE isn't 5% faster on average. Maybe it's 5% slower on average. It's definitely possible. So it's something you got to keep in mind. All right, let's see. It says has 41 teraflops. Where does it say 41 teraflops? Even if it does, don't believe it. Teraflops are a bad way to compare them anymore. They're completely different architectures. Most of those benchmarks are saying plus rage mode and smart access memory. Really? I don't think it did back here. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Whoa. Let's see, where was it? Because if I missed that, it does. Oh my gosh, with rage mode and smart access memory enabled. So, oh wait, no. This is their overclocking section. This is their overclocking section. My bad. You may be wrong, sir. But yeah, with the overclocking enabled, I mean, this is very impressive. You're looking at, I mean, NVIDIA can't overclock worth anything anymore because they push their cards to the absolute max out of the box. So basically, if you're like me and you're an enthusiast and you overclock, you could be looking at this, or if not better. So I expect these cards to beat the RTX 3080 with overclocking enabled pretty much in almost every game. Now, looking at their actual results back here, no, this one, it says nothing about rage mode. So no, the stuff they showed over here, it should be fine. You shouldn't have to worry. Let's go back and look just to make sure, though. Yeah, no, this is just without any overclocking. It's winning on average. It seems like, anyway. Looks like we got another super chat in here. $7 Canadian from Daniel Faust. All right, purely for Cyberpunk 4K Max, do you think any advantage 3090 over 3080 and 5950? I think you meant 6900XT and 6800 if you have the cache. There's a total waste, no noticeable difference. In my opinion, for gaming, the 3090 is a total waste because it's going to be 10% faster, and I don't think it'll matter. So if you're someone who buys a gaming card, I mean, I would struggle to even recommend the 6900XT. That is one expensive card. 650 is a lot more easy to digest than 999. Another super chat in here from Mitsumi 1000. I don't trust AMD with the charts. They've been shady in other releases, pumping charts. I remember I'll wait for third-party review before killing NVIDIA. Yeah, I've definitely mentioned that. I kind of trust AMD's charts more than NVIDIA, but I certainly wouldn't trust them more than like third-party results. You should always watch third-party benchmarks. Watch like Hardware Unboxed or Steve from Gamers Nexus. They'll always give you the best numbers. At least that's what I think. From what I've seen so far, their work does seem like to be some of the best, and I would trust that much more than I trust anything that AMD shows you, because, again, you got to remember, their company, they're typically going to show you everything in the best light. They don't usually like to show you things that are worse. Certainly possible, but they tend to like to show you their product in the best light, as anyone would. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, and if you're going to spam in the chat, the only spam I will accept is choo-choo. So let's get a big choo-choo in the chat here. Here we go. You ready? All right, so we got another $5 from AZWake453. Thank you very much. Do you think AMD drivers will be more stable? I absolutely 100% believe they're going to be way more stable this time. I have nothing to base that on other than the fact that they must have learned from their last time around, and the fact that it's in the consoles this time. So I feel like it's just between those two factors. They got to be way more stable this time. They absolutely have to be. I would not believe that if they weren't. I like the little. I should get a little train emote so that people who do super chats can get like a special train that I make. Yeah, there we go, popping off the chat. Choo choo. Choo choo. The train's not stopping here, baby. We still got some time. Yeah, November 5th, November 11th, and December 12th, was it? I'd have to look again. Let's go ahead and take a look. When are they launching? Oh, okay, yep. And December 8th. So, Ryzen 5. Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, the 6800 series launches on 11/18. For some reason, I read that as 6800 and 6800 XT. I have no why, or 6800 and 6800 XT here. I have no idea why I did. Ryzen 5000 on November 5th. So we do have to wait a little under a month to get the 6800 and 6800 XT, which, you know what, for me, that's fine, because that gives me some time to try and, you know, with two SKUs launching in the same day, maybe we'll have a little bit more chance. So the 3080 and 3070 will have been out for quite some time. I should be able to have a decent chance of landing a 6800. I hope I can. If I can, I definitely will try my hardest to get them, with 6900 XT launching a little later. Personally, I don't think you should buy 6900 XT, but if you're someone who's considering a 3090 for gaming, maybe buy this instead. It really depends, because if you absolutely must have the best ray tracing features, I get it. If you need the 3090 for workloads, I get it. But if you're just buying the best card for gaming right now, 6900 XT all day over the 3090, $500 less. We got two more super chats. Thank you very much, Marshy, for the $5. Finally, the RX 6900 XT GPU that can match the speed of your chair spins. It might. It might. All right, thank you, Forza S1, for the $5. Here's hoping people will buy the 68/6900 on release. We'll make it at least 1% easier to buy a 3090 so I can finally work on my unfinished Threadripper build. I'm in the opposite boat. I hope since less people buy AMD on average that I might have a chance of getting a card on release. Oh, jeez. 2020 has been one heck of a year, let me tell you. There's someone saying 3070 or 6800. Depends on what you want. Personally, I would much, much rather have a 6800. Will overheat an Omen Obelisk case. Man, if you're doing a small form factor case, you better have some really good ventilation, because I would not put any card over 250 watts in one of those things without having some awesome ventilation. They didn't mention ray tracing performance. I know, they didn't even mention the performance. That makes me a little bit worried. What CPU is used for benchmarks? Almost guaranteed it was a 5900X or 5950X. Got some more choo-choos going in the chat. Yeah, 10% difference for $350. Well, hey, that's better than a 10% difference for, what, $800? Neither of them are good. 6800XT and 6800 are where it's at. Gosh, I wish they were just a little bit cheaper. It'd be like such a big win if they were a little bit cheaper. But they are not. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 6900 XT now. No, that's the 6800. Where's the 6900 XT? What's this? Oh, yeah, the performance per watt. Yeah, they did exceed it. Not bad, not bad. Show me the specs, though. Show me the specs. Show me the specs. Show me the specs. Show me your moves. All right, let's see. What do we got here? This is a good screen grab. Please, AMD, give us some more pictures. We really desperately need more pictures. Let's get that full screened here. All right. Thank you, AZ Wake 453 for the $5. Do you think that they will release a 5700 XT? And what price point would it be at? I think he means 6700 XT. What price point would it be at? Probably significantly cheaper. I would guess, let me think, because if the 3060 Ti comes in at $400, and let's say the 6700 XT beats it, probably $430, somewhere around there. AMD seems less interested in giving you much, much cheaper stuff now. It just seems like they're not quite as interested in that. But, all right, let's see. What do we got here? Okay, yeah. We can keep streaming for a while here. We got a lot of viewers here. I'll go back to answering some questions in a second here, but let me look at this slide. So it's got 80 compute units. See, this year is exactly what I was expecting out of the 6900 XT as well. In fact, I think I almost said this exact. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been saying like 80 compute units, just over 2 gigahertz game clock, somewhere between 2.2 and 2.3 gigahertz boost clock, 128 megabytes Infinity Cache, 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and a 300 watt total board power. That's exactly what I expected. And it looks like Igor's lab was wrong. I was a little bit suspicious of it, but since he was right last time, I was like, well, maybe he's right. No, he's wrong. He must have been looking at third-party partner cards, and that kind of makes sense because I know that he does have some people who feed him information that are from the third part. They are from AIB partners, so yeah, I mean, this is a lot better when you're comparing a card that's $1,000 at 300 watts versus a card that's $1,500 at 350 watts. You can guess which one is going to be the better buy. All right, Chris Smith, thank you for the £5. I don't care about DLSS being a gamer. It's all about FPS. Go to the end. The full benchmark rigs are right there, by the way. Yeah, sure. We can go ahead and take a look at that. Very end. Let's see. Testing done on 6800 XT with this driver. 2080 with that driver. 5900X. 16 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz. And yeah, and I have 16 gigabytes at 3800 megahertz CAS it's like 15, 14, 14. All the subtimings are tightened. With the 5900X, I'll be able to... This memory is capable of over 4 gigahertz with overclocking. So when I get the 5900X, if I get a good chip, I'll be able to get 4 gigahertz memory running there too. So my results with overclocking would be much better than what they're showing in theory. You know, I'd be able to get faster memory to the CPU, so that would help the frame rate potentially. On top of that, if I end up, you know, flashing the 6800, slapping liquid metal on it, doing all that fun stuff, yeah, that's going to be a much faster card. So if you aren't subscribed and you're watching still 100%, make sure you subscribe, because I will be trying my absolute hardest to get a 6800 or 6800 XT, flashing the BIOS, doing this and that, you know, just absolutely taking it to the limit, especially if I can get a 6800. If you want to see that content, make sure you're subscribed, because I will be trying my absolute best to do that, and it should be some really fun content, really interesting. Hopefully I don't kill it. Because the last time I flashed a card was a 780 Ti, so yeah, things have changed. What's the dimensions? No one's answering. Well, it's probably roughly as big as a 3080. A little bit bigger. All right, let's see. Should you wait to buy one on Black Friday? Everyone should wait to buy one, because I need to buy one. But in all seriousness, don't expect new cards to go on sale on Black Friday. Maybe. The best I would hope for is, like, they'll throw in a game or something. That's typically all that happens. TSMC always make miracle. Yeah, TSMC is by far the best. They just make the best chips. They just do. All game settings at ultra except control at high. Yeah, because control has ray tracing. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. I get a sip of water here. Yeah, tonight I might hop in with the good old gamer during his after dark stream. I might do something like that if you're interested. If you're, I believe the requirement is you must be an adult, but I'm not 100% sure on that, because I think they might be imbibing of the beverages later at night. So if you want to join them to do that tonight, I think he's going to be doing that. That kind of sounds like a lot of fun, just talking about the cards. So is there any similar encoding to NVENC on the new AMD cards? Well, I thought that didn't. Okay, I might be completely off base here, but I could have sworn the AMD they like included some sort of hardware stuff for the encoding on the 5000 series cards last time. I swear they did. Yeah, I really hope they have some bot protection. Oh man, I'm gonna let this gameplay stuff here go while we talk. I'm gonna put my screen a little bit bigger as well. Let's do that. Is that good? That should be good. I'm gonna it's time. Guys, this is one of those mornings I just did not get enough sleep, let me tell you. But that's okay, because who needs sleep when you have graphics cards? Am I right? Okay, let's see what we got in the chat here. We got all right, let's see. Is there anything similar? Yeah, we already got that one. Should I wait on the 3070? I mean, you have to wait on the 3070 launches in 2 days. This launches in like what, 20 something days or something like that? Like 22 days maybe? I don't know. Too early for math for me. Let me tell you. Whoa. So super resolution is AMD DLSS. It kind of seemed like they were trying to say that their cast was going to be DLSS competitor, but it's not. Like, it is not the same. We got $10 from D Park. Good work on the coverage. Hope this helps with the 6800/XT fund. Yeah, man, every little bit helps. Thank you a lot, D Park, for the $10. yeah, I'm going to be trying my absolute hardest to get one. All right, thank you, John York, for the $5. It's almost noon. Wake up already. Look, it ain't going to happen. I like need to go back to bed, but the problem is I got to make a video after this, and I got a ton of stuff I got to do after this. So I got to get this video published by this afternoon. And then I have a whole bunch of other work I got to do. So oh, here comes the YouTube quality here. I remember this is seriously like watching a 720p video on YouTube. Oh, jeez. All right. All right, what do you think NVIDIA will do? Will NVIDIA drop the price of 3090 and 3080? No, they're not going to drop prices. It makes them look bad. They're going to introduce new SKUs, 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti. 3070 Ti will essentially replace the 3080. There's barely any stock to begin with, so, you know, cut the chip down further and get more stock, sell it for $600. Basically, forget the 3080 ever existed. They'll give you a 10 gigabyte 3070 Ti that's basically almost as fast as the 3080. And then the 3080 Ti will be almost as fast as a 3090, but like $1,000. All right, thank you for the $5, David W. Get you some coffee, man. Coffee, it just doesn't do it for me. It sort of makes me more awake, but at the same time, it just kind of just makes me like antsy. Doesn't really do it for me, but does it for some people. But thank you so much for the $5, David W. It helps quite a bit. All right. What I think he's trying to ask, what would you get? Pudding Boom is trying to ask, what would you get, Big Navi or 3080? Well, for me, you're kind of getting it from a biased source because I'm someone who once something's been reviewed, it's not as interesting to me. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd have a hard time choosing. Because I think I would get the 6800 XT just because it's so much cheaper. And it's not so much cheaper, but it's cheaper. But at the same time, here's how I'd say it. If you're someone who's super hyped for Cyberpunk, which don't get me wrong, I'm hyped for Cyberpunk, but I don't think I share the same levels of hype, then I'd maybe go for 3080. But me personally, I think I'd get 6800 XT. It just seems like the better value option. Yeah, rage mode. Yeah, that's great. I need to do some just classic overclocking though. Get this rage mode out of here. It's a cool name and all that, but yeah, it ain't gonna do it for me. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do some just good old fashioned overclocking. This will be debated, $50 more price cut. Oh man, that would be nice. That'd be so nice. You get this 6800 for $530, and then you end up getting the 6800 XT for $500 or $600. That would be ideal. That'd be the ideal price. $800 3080 Ti possible? Look, just because something's possible doesn't mean it's gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. XX Scarlet XX says, "Am I being ignored?" Nope. It's just that there's so many questions here that usually the only ones I'm able to get to are the super chats. It's really hard. So if you didn't send a super chat, it's gonna be hard to get to you. All right. Why did AMD not beat the price of the 3070 with their 6800? They could clearly are competing cards. This is gonna make me buy a 3070 tomorrow. Bad business choice. I think they didn't do it because they have more VRAM and more performance, so they can charge more. As simple as that. They should have. Yeah, it would have been better at $500 to $530. It would have been an easy choice to go with the 6800, but I think in AMD's eyes, the 6800 is more of a 3080 competitor than it is a 3070 competitor. So, and on top of that, you're not going to be able to buy a 3070 anyway. I'm going to give you a little hint here. From what I've been told, the stock for 3070s is even lower than what they got for the 3080s. No, look, I might try to get a 3070 tomorrow. Maybe, like, buy it and then resell it after I'm done testing it or whatever. But you ain't going to be able to get one. I can tell you right now. If you thought getting a 3080 was hard, this is probably going to be even harder because there's going to be more demand and less supply. Yo, Patreon won't let me log in to sub. Do you have a Twitch? I used to have a Twitch, but I got rid of it because I just don't stream enough. Like, I stream events, and I'm going to start streaming once a month now here going forward. I might even move to twice a month if people really like it. We'll start with once. And so I basically only do that on YouTube because the integration with YouTube is really good now. They've been working on their stream quality. It works pretty good. So that's the way I do it. Someone's saying I'm being ignored still. You're not being ignored. It just answer your question. All right. Okay. So if you want ray tracing plus DLSS 3080, if not 6800 XT, that's a pretty good way of phrasing it. Because like 6800 XT, it'll do ray tracing, but is it going to have it on day one? How well is it going to perform? These are the questions we don't have answered, and I can't answer for you. So it seems like it'll roughly perform as well as a maybe 2080 Ti, but then you throw DLSS in the mix, probably not. Can you please explain 8 versus 16 gigabytes of G6 memory? I have no idea what the difference is. I use 4K. So here's the deal. You need VRAM to, in a really simple way of explaining it, this, and you know, this isn't like an engineer explaining it. This is just me trying to kind of give you an idea. Essentially, VRAM caches the textures and various information that you need to get to the graphics card so that it can quickly reach out to it and do it in a way that doesn't hurt your performance. So if you have a lot more textures and shadows, detail, and all that, you're going to need more VRAM. And if you don't have more VRAM, it doesn't mean you can't run the ultra settings. You can, but it'll start dipping into stuff like your RAM. When that runs out, it'll start dipping into your SSD or maybe even your hard drive. Then you're in a bad spot. That's when it starts to really hurt your performance. RAM will hurt your performance, but not in the same way it'll hurt when it reaches into your drives. That's real bad. That's when things are not good. So when you play games at 4K and going forward, in my opinion, 8 gigabytes isn't going to be enough to get optimal performance without seeing stutters, frame drops, bad frame times, that sort of stuff that hurts your experience in the game. Because the consoles coming out are going to have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I believe about 4 gigabytes of it will be used for essentially system memory, leaving them 12 gigabytes of VRAM for running a game. If you have an 8 gigabyte card and you want to run the ultra settings with the optimal performance, 8 gigabytes probably isn't going to do it for you. You're probably going to need, you know, at least 12 gigabytes, especially if we have, you know, games coming out with even higher resolution textures on PC versus consoles. But we're not quite there yet. It seems like for now, 8 gigabyte cuts it for the majority of games. I don't think that's going to be the case going forward over the next year. What should I be looking price-wise for a 2080 Ti and 2080? For me personally, I would say 2080 Ti is probably worth around $500 to $550. If someone's asking more than that, it's not really worth it, because I think it's worth more than a 3070 because it'll give you the same performance and more because it'll overclock better. At least it should. I think it should anyway. Mine overclocked pretty dang well. Whereas I don't think the 3070 overclocks that well. And then on top of that, you're looking at a card that has 11 gigabytes versus 8 gigabytes, which to me, that extra 3 gigabytes is pretty much a game changer. It allows you to ultra settings over the next who knows how long. You know, it's gonna make it a more, that card's gonna last longer. It's gonna be better. Do I think NVIDIA is worried? NVIDIA was already worried. That's why they dropped to 3080 at $700 instead of, you know, $900 or $1,000. That's why they dropped to 3070 at $500. That's why there's a 3070 Ti coming out. That's why there's a 3080 Ti coming out. They're definitely worried. FPS benchmarks are average, but they're up to. Let's see. Did I miss something here? Well, I'm having trouble loading the stream up here, but, whoa. Hold on. I don't see anything that says up to. You might be talking about the overclocking bit. All right, thank you, Karma in Effect, for the $5. If I want to build a PC with 5900X for CPU and 6900XT for GPU, what power supply should I look for? Power requirements aren't always clear. So if I were you, I'd get probably at least 850 watt. Well, at least 750 watt. And the reason why is because you could probably get by with less. But the problem with that is that if you want to upgrade, if you want, you know, all down the line, you want to put a new CPU and new GPU, they draw more power. You want to get the optimal power efficiency out of the power supply. It's really important that you have more than enough. So it just makes sure that you don't have to worry about it. You're better off getting a power supply that's going to be at least 750 watts. Will AMD launch a 3060 competitor? They definitely will. I would expect that to be the 6700. Maybe even the 6600 XT. We'll see. Is 10 gigabytes in the 3080 decent going forward at 1440p? I think so. I think 10 gigabytes will be good enough for long enough that it shouldn't be a problem. I'd like to see 12, but 10 is good enough. Do you think we'll see a 3080 Ti this year? That's a good question. I don't 100% know, but I'm gonna put my bets down and say yes. I think late December. If I had a 3080 right now, would you sell and switch to 6800 XT if you had the choice? Well, you don't really have the choice. The problem is, it'd be nice to sell a 3080 right now because you could just put it up on an auction and people would just bid it up themselves to some crazy like $1,000 or something, make money. And like, well, you shouldn't be scalping people. It's bad practice. It's immoral. Don't do it. But if you put up a card and you put it up for auction at $400 and people want it for $1,000, you can't tell them to not give you $1,000. Like, that's what they're gonna pay you. It's what it is. Now, if you're doing a buy it now for $1,700, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Now, in reality, even if you're putting it up of a bid, you shouldn't purposefully be putting up a card that you know is in low supply, hoping that people bid it up. It's not good either. But, you know, if you're in a situation where you had a 3080 and the 6800 XT was, you could easily get, and you could flip your 3080 and at the very least not lose any money, but potentially even get money. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? If people want the 3080 for $800 or something, and you can buy a 6800 XT for $650, why not? I don't think that'll be the case, but if it was, that would be the way to go. Yeah, someone needs a temp ban. Timeout. Timeout for spam. By the way, yeah, you guys, when you're watching the stream, I might have to put in some like words that you cannot put in the stream or something, because like, I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't know who was doing it, but I saw a couple comments when that woman came up on stage who was kind of nervous the last time around, I think, and just there was just some comments that like, guys, you can't say that in public. Like, you can think whatever you want, but it makes me look bad when you're being inappropriate. All right, so You can have fun and games, but then it comes to a point where, okay, you can't say that. I had to temp ban a few people and I'm sure I didn't catch everyone, but when people look back at this, and I'm glad I private them, because if this is public on my channel and people are looking back and they're like, look what people are saying, now I'm responsible, even though I'm not. People would hold me responsible for that type of stuff. So please keep it civil and keep it, somewhat appropriate. Okay, like I'm not gonna ban people for swearing, but like you got to have a little bit of decorum here. But for the most part, you know what, this chat's been very good. So there's only been a few people. It's always the like one or two people screaming the loudest that have to end up, causing trouble. It's always something like that. This is a family-friendly show, people. Oh, jeez. All right, let's see. You think there'll be another driver mess-up situation? Okay, wait, hold on. No, I don't think that. By the way, we got $2 from Shady Activities. Which GPU for 650-watt power supply? AMD site says 6800. Yeah, I agree. 6800 would be a great card for 650-watt power supply, and I think it's just going to be a great card overall. All right, so I think I'll take a few more questions here. I'm going to be getting off the next about 5 minutes, so if you're still watching, I'm going to probably wrap this up. If you got questions to ask, now would be the time. And then I'll wrap this up. It'll be set to unlisted. I will give a link to all my Patreon members so that you can go rewatch the live stream there if you want to. Otherwise, there will be a video coming out later today discussing not only Big Navi, but the 3070. I think the title will be something like, Don't Buy the 3070. And I'm basically going to explain in the video why you should probably wait before going out and buying the 3070. And there's quite a few reasons. It's more than just Big Navi is good. There are some reasons why I have a few problems with the 3070. However, that being said, the 3070 in the current market is very good value. So if all you care about is performance, 3070 is not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. Yep, have a good one, Ian R. Smith. What do you think about the 3600 with the 6800 for 1440p gaming? I think that's a good combo. I don't think that should be a problem. Now, if you're looking at like 6900XT, maybe then Ryzen 5000, depending on if you're a high refresh rate gamer. But especially at 4K, 3600 is more than good enough. All right, we got a question from DMD. How will the 6900XT be for 1440p 144 hertz gamers? 100%. I guarantee. Well, I can't guarantee you anything, but I personally believe that the 6900XT will be the fastest 1440p graphics card, hands down. I think it's gonna beat the 3090 at 1440p, because I mean you saw the 6800XT was doing it. So then if you overclock the 6900XT 1440p high refresh rate, it's gonna be an absolute monster. All right. One more. All right, I'll do one more. I got about 3 minutes left here. Doesn't really work as well with the headphones, but okay, let's get these last few questions in here, and then I gotta start working on that video. So we got a super chat from Ben Marbrook, £2, reference cards and thoughts. I think all we're going to get on launch day is reference cards. I think the AIBs will be a few days afterwards. Not 100% sure on that one. I think the reference cards will be fine. I think the coolers are actually going to be pretty decent. But, yeah, I think it's what we're going to have to deal with. At 300 watts, do you think the 6900XT should have been allowed more power for more? No. No, please don't push beyond 300 watts. Out of the box, I never, ever, ever want to see again a card that draws more than 300 watts. It's not good. It's fine for overclocking. If you want to overclock your own card over 300 watts, that's fine. Please, no more 300 plus watt cards. It's for me, 300 watts is the absolute limit. All right, and then John Radin, thank you for the $5. Hello, man. What is your opinion on Big Navi launch event? Just overall, I felt like it was a pretty good event. It was nice and short and succinct. It got across the points that they wanted to get across, but I think they missed out on potentially showing some ray tracing. So it's a little unfortunate, but I guess that's the way it is. But in any case, I'm about to hop off here, so last chance to get in your last questions here, and then I'm going to end the stream. About 1 minute here. Okay, let's see. DirectX will replace SLI and Crossfire. DirectX 12. No, SLI and Crossfire are done. It's done. It's a whole new way of doing coding needs to happen before those come back. UK prices, well, all you got to do is punch in those numbers on Google. You'll find out. No SLI. Yep, no. It's sad, but the multi-GPU stuff, it's over. Are these 8-pin? Yeah, they should be dual 8-pin cards. Now we know the real reason why Cyberpunk is delayed. You know, I hope they use that time to enable ray tracing on AMD. It'd be very nice, because that's probably the card I'm going to have, so I'd like to be able to see ray tracing with an AMD card, even if it's not as high performance. I just want to see it. But in any case, I think that's going to have to do it for me here. A pretty nice stream here. I think it was a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Again, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe so you can see all the RX 6800 and 6800XT content that I should be able to put forward here. And but that's all I got for now. And I will see you in a video coming out later today.